Well, good afternoon, everybody. I was gonna say good morning, but I was a bit of a slacker today, and I'm not making this video until afternoon. Don't blame me. I'm also trying to work and homeschool my children, and life has been chaos. But I think it's going okay. We finally got like a schedule in place. They are doing some schooling in the form of a documentary and a virtual tour right now, which has given Mama some time to hang out in the downstairs area and be a productive human for a few minutes. Side note, teachers should be making far more money than they do. And I knew that. I knew that for a long time, but like that lesson has really hit home recently. So teachers out there, thank you for what you do. And us parents at home are doing our best to live up to your wonderful expectations, but most of us are probably falling pretty short right now. I have to apologize. I went through and watched a couple of these videos from the last few days, and I realized that my glasses just really reflect the computer screen and the window and the lamp that I have over here, and so I spend most of the time just looking like a cyborg. But I am blind as a bat without my glasses. I can't even see my recording screen, so we're just gonna have to find a way to live with that right now. Anyway, for today's fact of the day, I wanted to talk about one of my very, very favorite creatures in the whole world. And don't tell him, but it is not Pirate Jack. Sorry, buddy. It is something called a tardigrade. If you have not heard about tardigrades, you're about to. And if you haven't seen a picture of a tardigrade, do me a favor, pause this video, just Google one. They're so cute. In a weird microscopic sort of way. They're also arguably one of the most like alien creatures on this planet of ours. So here we go. Tardigrade, literally translated, means slow paced. It was originally a word that it was like an adjective applied to tortoises, but since about 1800, the adjective got taken away from the poor, slow-paced tortoises and just became the name for these little creatures. Tardigrade kind of sounds weird though, so most people refer to them either as moss piglets or water bears. And if you look at that picture like I told you to, you would see why, but most of it's just because of the cute way that they sort of trundle across their own habitats, and they're adorable. They're tiny. They're about 0.5 millimeters long maximum, so about the size of, if not smaller than, a grain of sand. But despite their size, they can actually be found all over the world in just a vast, whoa. Moving my hand changes the lighting. Sorry, very distracted. Squirrel. They can be found all over the world. They're super, super hardy little creatures. They are very old. That really doesn't even begin to cover it. They are estimated to be about 600 million years old, which, to put that in perspective, particularly considering our video yesterday, dinosaurs first appeared about 230 million years ago. So T-Rex is kind of the new kid on the block when it comes to the old tardigrade. But maybe they should be called hardigrades. So punny. Because they are hardy little creatures, so they can actually withstand temperatures that would easily like burn or fry or freeze or kill a human being or most other organisms on this planet. They have been exposed to heat over 300 degrees Fahrenheit and to cold below 1 degree Kelvin, which is about negative 458 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the temperature in which most things and substances just go completely bananas. But they're fine. They just keep on trucking no matter what. They don't crack under pressure. They can survive immense pressures, actually up to 6 times that on the ocean floor. So if you think about that, like, humans have not really been able to explore the bottom of the Mariana Trench because we cannot create a vehicle that can go down to those depths and not just completely crush in on itself. But the old tardigrade has no problem with that whatsoever. They're fine. They can also be boiled and come out fine. They can be boiled in alcohol and come out fine. Like, they don't care. Throw it at a tardigrade. They're cool. They can actually kind of dehydrate themselves. They can lose, by choice, they can lose up to 99% of their body's water content. It's a process that essentially like suspends animation for several years before they can bring themselves back to life. In this weird dehydrated state, it's actually called a ton, T-U-N, a ton. During this time, their metabolism is reduced to about 0.01% of what it is during its like full living state. This process is called cryptobiosis, and it is kind of the tardigrade superpower. It's why they are as hardy as they are. Cryptobiosis, literally translated, means hidden life, which is essentially what suspended animation is. And they can just go on living even though they are dead for all intents and purposes. Cryptobiosis, interesting fact, is also how sea monkeys do the thing that they do. I don't know if maybe this ages me, but I remember being a kid and you could go to the store and like buy the little paper envelope that had like sea monkey eggs in it, and you would buy it and you'd take it home and you'd like pour it into some water, and then all of a sudden you had like living, breathing sea monkeys. It's why. It's because sea monkeys also have cryptobiosis, and so they're just dehydrated little sea monkeys that you put in water, and then surprise, they come back to life, because the world is a weird, weird place. But yeah, when times get tough, tardigrades kind of play possum. They just play dead. They kind of crumble themselves up, hunch into little dried husks, and more or less just shut down for whatever period of time they need to, which is cool. They're essentially untouchable in this state, which is cool. The other really cool thing about the tardigrade, and this is my favorite thing, you're putting my leg to sleep, buddy, I'm sorry. They can live in space, kind of. So in 2007? Yeah, 2007. In 2007, dehydrated little tons, the dehydrated tardigrades were taken up into orbit, and while they were up there, they were exposed to the vacuum of space and to the extensive UV radiation that you get in space for 10 days. And when they were returned to Earth, more than 2/3 of them were successfully revived, which is pretty impressive. Some of them did die soon after, but they were still able to reproduce successfully before that happened, and the offspring were perfectly fine. So that's pretty crazy. Doesn't mean they're aliens, but I mean, maybe they're aliens. I don't know. The reason behind this, they actually, so inside of the dehydrated cells of tardigrades, there's a very specific type of protein that they create. It's called tardigrade specific intrinsically disordered protein, or TDP, and that particular protein actually replaces the water inside of the tardigrade cells. So when it dehydrates, the water goes away, but that TDP actually comes into the cell, replaces the water, and it forms this kind of like almost glass-like substance, I guess, that keeps the cell structures intact. And they're fine. Like, shoot, I wish I could do that. And then I want to like double check and make sure that I'm saying this name correct. I probably should have Googled this before I actually did this video. Yeah. So and this is kind of crazy, but there might currently be tardigrades on the moon. Here's why. In 2019, there was an Israeli lunar lander called Bereshit. I'm so sorry, I'm probably saying that wrong. But there was an Israeli lunar lander called Bereshit that crash landed on the moon's surface. Part of that mission, part of the cargo for that mission, I guess, was a sample of tardigrades. There was a colony of tardigrades that they had put onto this lander. Because of their ability to survive really harsh conditions, to survive the vacuum of space, to go into this dehydrated cryptobiotic state, there is a fair chance that those tardigrades survived the crash landing and are just hanging out there. For how long, I don't know. But that's kind of a cool thing to think about. So, go make your own day. Look up a picture of tardigrades. You will enjoy it, I promise. Hope everything is going well for you guys. Yeah, that's about all I have to say. I'm sure you know that the governor has put Larimer County under a stay-at-home order now. Just a reminder, I know for some people it just seems like a normal virus. I know the vast majority of us probably would not be impacted very negatively, if at all, if we were to get COVID. But the reason why this order is in place is to help keep our more susceptible population safe. So next time you need to go out or you feel like you really need some human-to-human contact, just keep in mind the people that we're doing this for. So people like your parents and your grandparents, family, friends, teachers, things like that. That being said, I hope you're surviving quarantine. I know it gets lonely, but feel free to call me or text me or send me a video if you're feeling particularly deprived of human interaction.